para que puedan verlo después.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, inicia. 1, 2, 3. So, good morning. Today we are going to review about the present perfect, as you are seeing on my screen here. Present perfect simple. So, please, if you have your your student book handy, please open your student book page 76, the grammar part. Okay? So, remember we were talking, well, we were discussing about the present perfect in our last class, and it is to talk about something that happened at some point in the past and may be still relevant in the present. Like, for example, I can say, I have traveled to Australia, like I was saying in the in the example. That means that in one point in
What
the
page?
past, 76, please. So that means that at one point in the past, I was in Australia, and I don't know, maybe in the future, I will go there again. So the structure of the present perfect is as follows. So you use
The student book teacher.
a student book, yes, student book, page 76.
Thanks.
So
Thanks.
the affirmative way to form this present perfect is first you have to use either the pronoun or the noun that is the subject, right? So you use I, you, we, they with have. It is very important that you consider the subject. Otherwise, you will have the wrong answer. Remember that you have to use the third person when you're talking about he, she, it. So a male, a female, or a thing or an animal, okay? So that's very important. So when you're talking about the first person, I, you, we, they. So the first person or the plural, I, you, we, they, you have to use have. That is very important because if you don't use have, there's no present perfect. So I plus have, then the verb in past participle, okay? The past participle of the verb, I've been using the regular verbs. So regular verbs are those that do not change, just change the ending. Like you see here, work, you just add ed, like in the past. So I have worked, okay? But there are some cases where you have to use irregular verbs, like this, written. That is the past participle. It's not the same as past simple. So it's past participle of the verb. So that, what is the base form of this verb? What is the base form? The original verb.
Right.
Right. Yes, that's correct. So that would be the base form of the verb to write. Okay, so you have to use the past participle of the verb to write in order to form the present perfect. So you have I have worked, and then you put something else, like I have worked in Saint Dominic for 3 months. That's a present perfect sentence, right?
Okay.
But the thing is that you cannot, like in your student book, you see, we use the auxiliary verb. What was the auxiliary verb that we used to form the present perfect? Anyone? Remember, we were talking about have or has. That is the auxiliary verb, okay? So we use the auxiliary verb have plus the past participle of the verb, main verb. Like I was saying, we can use work, that is a regular verb, so you don't change the whole verb, just the ending, worked, okay, to form the present perfect. So read that sentence. That's very important because that's the way you form the present perfect. Number two,
Okay.
it says, we use the present perfect to talk about experiences when. Remember that I said
In
I've
past.
traveled
Past.
Exactly.
Past.
Yeah.
Okay.
The past. We cannot use for the present or the future, even though it is named present perfect, but it doesn't have to do anything with the present. The thing is that the actions that happened in the past may be still relevant in the present. That's why it's called present perfect. Number three,
Okay.
it says we can use words like last week or ago. Can we or we cannot
Can.
use? We
Can.
can't. Yes, yes, because if we use these words like last week or ago, we are talking about what tense, what type of tense are we talking about over there? If we use last week or ago, what are we talking about? Something that
Simple
happened
past.
when? Simple past. Yes, that's correct. Simple past. So in this case, we cannot use last week, ago, few months ago, or few hours ago, whatever. We cannot use those endings or those complements because that will be wrong. Okay? So remember that you have to use have or has depending who you're talking about. Number four, we can use ever in present perfect. What type of uh,
Statement.
Question.
statements exactly? So you can say statements. Are you sure? Ever, not never. Ever.
Question. Ah, okay.
Question.
Questions. So remember this
With
question that you're.
questions.
Take a look at this in your book. Have you ever? Okay. Have you ever? It is to ask about something that happened at some point in the past. Like I can say, have you ever, I don't know, ride a horse? Have you ever ridden a horse, actually? Because you have to use the verb in past participle. Have you ever ridden a horse? How can you answer that question? No, I haven't, or yes, I have, right? So
Okay.
what I was trying to say in Spanish is, ¿alguna vez has montado a caballo? The verb to ride, R-I-D-E. The verb in past participle is ridden, R-I-D-E-N. Okay, ridden. Have you ever ridden a horse? You can answer like this: yes, I have. If you in your life at one point ridden a horse, yes, I have, or no, I haven't. Okay, so remember, ever you use ever in questions, not in statements. And statements are in Spanish afirmaciones. Okay, questions, preguntas, right? Okay,
Okay.
number five, we can use never in present perfect what? Questions or
Statements.
statements?
Statement.
Statements. Exactly.
Statements.
Statements, right? Because you can say, I have never ridden a horse. That's perfectly fine. Okay. So remember that. That's the key for the exercise in Aula Virtual because you will have some questions and you will have some statements, ever or
In a
never.
PowerPoint presentation.
No, no, in Aula Virtual. In PowerPoint presentation, that presentation that you have here is just for you to review and go over the presentation again if you have any questions or if something was not that clear. So, like I was saying with your book, you see, have you or have they work? That's good. Remember that to form a question, you have to put the verb first. Okay, so it has to go have plus the pronoun or the noun. It could be a name also. Have you, and then it could be ever, like I was saying, ridden a horse. Okay, so we can make the sentences that we were having for homework last week. Let me close this. I don't know what is that. Okay, number four. Remember, we were making these sentences, so we can say, "My mom." What do we have to have here? My mom. What? What
Never
verb
visit Antarctica.
has never? Right.
Has
Woman.
never.
So it has to be like this. Let me open a Word document 1 second. So it has to be has, right? Why? Because we're talking about whom?
My mom.
My
She.
mom. She. Yes.
She.
So we're talking about her. So it should be like this. My mom has never. Remember this. visited, okay? It has to be visited, okay? Because it has to be in the past participle, okay? Antarctica, okay? That's good. Next one, it is, I never camp in the winter. So what would be the correct form of that sentence? I, is it
Never.
have
I
or is it
have
had?
never I have
Yes,
never come camped.
camped. Yes, camped.
Can't. I
Yes,
I
never
I
have
have.
never camped in the
in
winter.
the winter.
Exactly. Yes, yes, very good, very good. Yes, I have never camped in the winter. So see, I have never, because this is a statement. Okay, this is a statement. Let me see
Okay.
who's connected. I don't know who is Jolepan. Okay, because this is a statement, and we have to use have never camped. Remember, camped. This is not past simple. It is the past participle of the verb. Okay. Next sentence. It says, you ever work in a factory?
Have
You have
you
What?
ever
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 worked
worked in
in
factory?
factory?
Exactly. Yes. So it should be, have you ever worked in a factory?
Factory.
Okay. Remember this. This is very important. Worked. The verb has to be in past participle, right? Otherwise, it's not correct. Next one. This one was kind of tricky. Most of you got it right, but some of you got it
Has
wrong. So
Tony ever repaired a computer?
exactly. So has Tony ever
Has
repaired?
Tony repaired
Right. So
a
remember,
computer?
it is has because we are talking about Tony. Tony is someone else. Tony is a guy, a man, or I don't know, a child. I don't know. So has Tony ever repaired a computer? Okay, so that's the key for that question. That's a question. That's why we use ever. Ever only goes in questions. Okay. Number 5. It says we never return
Have
to
never,
our old.
we have
We have
never
never.
returned to our
Never returned.
old school.
We have
Yes, we have never returned to our school or something like that,
all
or old
all
school.
our
Old
old
school, right? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So see, it's simple, but you have to keep in mind if the if the subject is someone else or an animal or a thing, you have to use the third person. Okay. So I think you all know the third person, but I have another presentation over here about the third person. Let me find it. Well, I don't have it here, but I will send it to you. Remember, the third person of have is has. Okay, like we see here, has worked, has written. Okay, so these are the uses for the present perfect for an action that happened in the past, but those results or whose results are obvious in the present. Like we see here, this person has a dirty car. So John's car is dirty. So then he washes the car. So we can say in present perfect, he has washed the car, right? Because we can see the results in the present. So his car was dirty, so he has washed the car, and we see that his car is clean now, right? So
teacher.
this is an yes. Who's
Me.
yes?
In
Go ahead.
present perfect, always we have to put has or have.
Have or has. Yes, it's very important to use have or has. Otherwise, it will not be present perfect. So remember, you have to use. Let me put this again. So it is the subject or the pronoun plus
Okay.
have or has, depending on who you're talking about, and then the verb in past participle. Okay. Remember that there are some verbs that are regular verbs that you just add the ed, like over here, like work
Okay.
is like the past worked, right? But these are very tricky. So if you don't know the answer to one of those verbs, you can go to Google and check past participle, and there are tons and tons of answers. So you see, beat, beaten. So that's the past participle. This is the rule for the past participle. It changes, but these are irregular verbs. Some of the verbs that we are going to use are regular. So you just use the ed, okay? Just the ed at the end. Those that are irregular change completely. Okay, like we see, wash. The past participle of wash is washed with ed at the end. Okay, this is another way to use the present perfect for an action that has just finished. Like we see, this guy is having lunch, and it says Mark is having lunch. He has just had lunch. So in Spanish would be él recién acaba de almorzar. Okay, he has just had lunch. This is recién. Okay, recién o hace poco. So he has just had lunch. Okay, remember
Okay.
these. Remember these two pictures, but I will send this presentation to you. It is already uploaded to Irukai. Okay, remember this guy having lunch. He has just had lunch. Okay, I think this is in your student book too, with just and let me see. One second. Who's connecting? One moment. Who's connecting? Who's connecting? Andrea de Soto. Welcome. Okay. Let me see your student book. 1 second. No, it's not here. Oh, it's over here on page 81. You can see the use of just, yet, and already. Okay. So, who knows the meaning of those words in Spanish? Just, yet, and already.
Solo, listo y ahora. No sé.
Almost. Okay. Just remember, we saw this guy having lunch. Just, recién. Okay. Justo ahora, something like that. Él recién acaba de almorzar. Just.
Okay.
Already is ya. He he has already done his homework or something like that. Let me see an example over here with already. Talk about something that happened very short time ago. Then we use already. Okay. Already is ya. Él ya ha acabado de comer. He finished his homework already. Él ya terminó sus deberes. Por ejemplo, already es ya. ¿Ok? Y aquí estamos con yet. Eso significa todavía. ¿Ok? Entonces,
Okay.
just es recién.
Ya.
Yet es todavía. Y already es ya.
Okay.
All right, so those are some new words. We haven't seen this part yet because it's another complement of the present perfect. But we are going to go into this topic step by step because it's a little bit tricky and it's a little bit advanced. You will see these tense from now until you graduate. So it's very important that you know how to use it. So that's why I'm sending this presentation. You see, this is another use for an action that started in the past that hasn't finished. So we can say we have lived here for 15 years. Like you see in this house, they just bought the house in 2000, and in 2015 they're still living there. So we can say we have lived here for 15 years. Okay, or
Okay.
we have lived here since 2000. So in Spanish would be nosotros hemos vivido ahí por 15 años or por 15 años. And this one, we have lived here since 2000. Hemos vivido ahí desde, since is desde el año 2000. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So that's another way to use the present perfect. So now I believe that it is clear. Everything is clear because you haven't asked any questions. But do you have any questions so far?
No.
No? All right. So now we are going to go to, I don't know if you're seeing my screen. I don't know. You are not seeing my screen now. But now we are going to go to, one second. Let me share the screen. Share. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
It.
Go to your class in Aula Virtual. This
Okay.
is the this is the exercise. Present perfect exercise April 7, 2020.
In which matter? In grammar.
Yes.
Yes, grammar subject. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Grammar subject. Please do not attempt to go to the exercise without reviewing the presentations, okay? And without reading this. Otherwise, you will fail. Read the presentation. Read it. Learn it because you have to learn the structure, okay? Learn the structure. And also, Google the past participle of some verbs. You can, for instance, if you have the verb eat, you will have what is the past participle of eat? Past participle of eat. See, eaten. So if
Okay.
you have any questions about the past participle, you can use Google. Go past participle of and then put the verb eat. Right? I think this oh some of you already attempted the exercise. You see, I
Okay.
hope they got good grade because oh well they were okay. Do not do this. You have to first listen to the explanation and read the presentation and go to your book before doing that. Otherwise, you will have a bad grade or not as good as you're going to have if you read and prepare yourself for the presentation. Okay?
Okay. Teacher,
So that yes.
how many attempts we have in this lesson?
How many attempts?
Yes.
Just one. And that's why I'm stressing that you have to read first. So
Okay.
I will read first the rules. Go to your book, go to the presentation, read them, and also take notes of the rules in a little piece of paper or in your notebook. Read the rules and then go to the exercise. Otherwise, you will have a 7 or less. All right. So that will be the explanation. If you want to, we can change to Spanish. Okay. ¿Alguna pregunta? Díganme. Déjeme terminar de grabar un momentito, ¿sí? Porque ya terminó la grabación de la